Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Minnesota State Park Hiking Club Trail Series. Today we travel to Waukesha, Minnesota to take the hiking club trail at Big Bog State Recreation Area. The recreation area sets aside part of the 500 square mile peat bog around the Red Lake area, the largest in the continental 48 states. The recreation area itself is relatively young in comparison to other parks and recreation areas around the state, having only been established in 2000. The driving force behind its creation, according to the DNR website, is the economic impact of the walleye population crash in the 1990s, and Waukesha looking for something else to drive tourism in the area. An almost alien landscape characterizes the landscape of the area, with sphagnum bog, fen, boreal conifers, and hardwoods, the small narrow trees that reside along the majority of the boardwalk in the northern section of the area are of particular interest, as even the most narrow trees can be incredibly old versus the appearance, as the trees have little nutrients to pull from and as a result grow incredibly slow, meaning a small 2-inch diameter tree that you see poking out next to you on the trail may already be decades old. The animals in the bog are diverse, and you may even see a moose, which is known to travel through the area, but the highlight of the animals that live here for me is the lemming. No, not the video game character from the early 2000s. Hilarious, but no. Both northern and southern bog lemmings reside within the Big Bog, and they average just about 5 inches long, so you have to have a keen eye to spot them, though you likely won't see many, as they create runways similar to other rodents to avoid being the prey of owls or other predators that will hunt them. Aside from moose, you can see fisher and bobcats, pine martens, and gray wolves. The area used to have abundant elk, but since the 1940s there have been no elk. Today, the only area that contains elk within Minnesota is the northwestern corner, but should it grow, the Big Bog is an ideal environment for them to thrive in. In the southern section of the park by the east shore of Upper Red Lake resides the Visitors Center, as well as a fire tower. The fire tower is open to the public to climb, much the same as the one at Itasca or Whitewater State Parks, and gives a wonderful view of the area. It's worth a stop while you are checking with the ranger and determining your plans for visiting. We climbed to the top and had a look around. If you want to see what the fire tower view looks like at this very moment, I'll leave a link in the description for the webcam to the DNR website that has it at the top of the tower. Located in the northern section of Upper Red Lake, the hiking club trail counts for 2 miles of the hiking club and starts from the parking lot in the northern section. It's primarily a boardwalk through a bog. The trees are very narrow and do not provide much in the way of shade, so ensure you are sufficiently prepared with water and sunscreen. We did not notice much in the way of bugs, but there was a slight breeze and carnivorous plants lined the walkways in sections. The first bit of the trail is a choose-your-own adventure, as the boardwalk starts on the far side of a small body of water. There's a dock on the pond that you can walk out on to look into the water if you like, but whichever side you choose, you eventually end up at the start of the boardwalk, marked with a nice metal trellis. The undergrowth is high initially as you transition from the firm ground you came from to a more boggy peatland that dominates the trail. There are several benches along the way for you to sit and appreciate the surroundings or take a break if needed. Along with most of these are info plaques that give details on various aspects of the area, such as wildlife, the doomed efforts to tame the enormous peatlands, and the ensuing acquisition of the debt-riddled land as a result are just some of the examples of the information on the plaques. The trees become smaller and more spread out as you advance through the boardwalk. Around the midway, there is a large open section that provides a decent view in each direction. From there on out, the vegetation is reduced to primarily small, spindly trees until you come to a different clearing where there are several seats and a wide open area to observe. This is where the trail ends, but it provides a fantastic view and there's a nice cool breeze, a wonderful place to rest and take in the peatlands. My favorite part of this trail, and really of any swamp or peatland, is the carnivorous plants. I always liked to get a Venus flytrap when I went to the Science Museum at Boston. I wasn't particularly good at keeping it alive, only marginally better than when I bought that cactus in Arizona, but it was exciting and interesting to watch this plant that acquired sustenance in a novel in a different way. I'm sure watching Jumanji around the same time had nothing to do with it, but on this trail it wasn't Venus flytraps, but slightly more innocuous looking pitcher plants, which, as you see here, look more like a bent leaf with a puddle of water or nectar. That's the trap, though, and when unsuspecting insects fall in, they are goners, digested to sustain the plant. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this edition of the series, let us know, and also, let us know which one you'd like to see next.